Yo. GGP already?
Welcome to the space where the truth gets spoken. Trap snares popping, hands up, energy open. Where the chains get broken and the culture stays golden. We move with grit, say grit. We rise with grace, say grits. We push for progress. Progress. No justice, no sleep. Snare snapping, keep that bounce alive. Unapologetic, black, unfiltered, unshaken. We the future in motion, history in the making. Let's go! Every step, every voice, every beat that we speak. We the rhythm of the people rising week after week. From the block to the ballot, the mic to the streets. We bring fire to the system till the mission's complete. Turn it up, let it hit, let it rise in your chest. This is power, this is purpose, yo, we won't rest. So lean in, tune up, let your spirit digest. This is grit, grace, and progress. Yeah, feel that, hold that, let it settle in your soul. Grace, power in the place. Grace and progress, say it. Grace, power in the place. Grace and progress, say it. Grace and progress, say it. Grace and progress.
Man, yeah. So his lips is moving again and you can't hear a thing that he's doing. The gremlins are still in the house. Good evening, everybody. This is Grit, Grace, and Progress. Of course, our host and master of ceremonies, he's having some problems here.
Silence the game. Technology at its best. We're glad to have y'all with us. We hope to have our master of ceremonies back here soon. How you doing, Greg? You good?
I'm good, EB. And I'm in Cleveland, Ohio. Best location in the nation since I was growing up. But we've been through some changes, and we're still going through changes. But God is good. How about you, EP?
So the weather, right? I'm dying in this weather. I'm here too. Dying in this weather. Just got a roof over today and dealt with some roofing issues from 2 weeks ago. But all is good. Happy to have a roof over my head, even though the roof has been damaged.
Right. You know, around the corner from me, a tree broke because of the high winds.
Yeah.
And the tree had to be more than so. Yeah. And it just had a sad feeling around the neighborhood.
Gotcha.
Yeah, we hear you.
Go ahead.
I got behind my house, and I love it because of the shade, but I got this feeling I'm gonna have to cut it down, and that's one reason why I bought the house, because it was behind the house. So I'm hoping I don't have to cut it down.
Right.
Man, I apologize about that, guys. I mean, I don't know. Me and Greg was talking fine with no issues. And check out, I done changed computers, I done changed headsets, I done changed mics, headphones, internet going good. I don't know what's up, but this ain't got nothing to do. Check out.
Room? Did you ask the ancestors to help you?
Hey, y'all help me, please. Think about it. Think about it. I'm not even on Facebook straight ahead right now. I'm coming straight to YouTube. I'm not even using Facebook right now, so I can't even blame them for this.
Blame them no more. I
can't even blame them no more. But with all that being said, you know, we're here on Grace, Grit, and Progress. And for those watching, we are on a Facebook Live team as well. I'm gonna see if we get them to join in with us. But a couple of things, you know, there's a couple of topics I want to bring up. I want to talk about the 250-year anniversary of the United States and what does it fit in our democracy looks like with this coming up. We want to talk a little bit about food deserts, and I'll get a little bit about that story of why this came into play. It was more so me noticing that there were many good grocery stores and fresh fruits and vegetables in certain communities, which has been like that for a while. But I felt, me and my wife felt super privileged to be able to go to like 7 different grocery stores within a 20-minute ride of my house. Two of the grocery stores are like 3 mile radius of my house. And I sat back, I was like, wow, what about the people who don't have that privilege? So that got one story. And the last one we're gonna talk about if we get to it is black-owned bookstores. There's a directory that lists 306 of the black bookstores in the United States. That's what, as far as I know right now, the count is as physical brick and mortar buildings, 306. And there's a directory for that. But I want to go ahead and get us hooked up on our Facebook page too. Um, See if these people want to join in with us and get into this conversation. Greg, tell me a little bit about your
Yes,
weekend,
sir.
man. Tell me a little bit about your weekend right quick.
Um, the weekend was healing. Getting prepared for the end of the Lenten season. Our church, and we just finished a book read. Ohio Mennonite Conference has a winter book read. It was Make It Plain by Dr. Drew G.I. Hart,
Yeah.
and he joined us for our last Zoom meeting, and so
Hmm.
we got to spend some time in community.
Right.
Um, so this whole weekend has been about healing. I've been real sensitive because my dad is he's struggling with his anger.
Okay. Got you.
He's struggling with his anger, and he's very abrasive and combative,
Got
but
you.
that's not his heart.
Right.
Never has been his heart.
Got
And
you.
so it's just hard for me to see that and hold on to so I just been rolling with it.
Got you,
That's where I've
man.
been.
God definitely keep you lifted up in that, man, for sure. What about you, EB? What's it been like for you this weekend, man?
Just trying to put things back together after the windstorm. Uh,
How bad was it for you?
it's, it was bad. The last
Oh,
one they had knocked some roofing paper off and seemed like it chased more skunks into my house, into the back of the house.
oh wow.
But all is well, man. I'm grateful to have a house to complain about. I'm grateful
Right.
to
Got
have,
you.
but I bought my wife a new car because, those things have to happen.
Don't tell my
Happy
wife
wife,
that,
happy
man.
life.
Yeah, I've been trying. I need to get my wife one day to go spend like $870 some on tires a day. I need them for my truck, and I'm like, oh brother, here we go again. It's always something, but I'm trying to stay away from a car note. But I do need to get her a car, man. She needs one. But
Yeah.
hopefully, we'll get that balance going. We can do that. So this summer is gonna be deep, man. This high stakes episode of Great Grace and Progress. We move past the mainstream noise to discuss the 3 pillars. We can call them pillars. We can call them topics of the Black community survival here in 2026. This isn't a conversation for experts. We want to have like a table talk, roundtable conversation with just everyday citizens. We are everyday citizens. Um, I went to school for broadcasting and all that. EV's been in broadcasting for a while. Greg's been in, with us a lot with broadcasting. But to say we're experts on these particular topics, we can definitely talk about our experiences. And I want to bring that to the forefront. We want to discuss, how to protect our health, our political power, and our history. We're going to dig deep into this thing called preventive chronic disease. It's a movement, and the National Urban Leagues has a document called America's 250 Defense Guide, and it's a historic launch of and we're going to talk about the historical launch of the National Black Bookstore Directory. So, starting off right here is this thing called the resistance of the plate. Y'all ever heard that term before?
No.
Mhm.
So, if you're in the promo video, you might have saw these ladies cutting these vegetables up in that promo video. So, the resistance of the plate is resisting the foods that you know are damaging to your body, especially to our community. So there's this thing called nutritional redlining. It's a systemic barrier of Black longevity. So if you notice in a lot of our communities, the disease, diabetes and cancer, different things, a lot of it is attributed to what we eat. And our eating habits have gotten a lot better, I would say, over the last 50 years. But it's and I take it back. It was better up until the 1990s. So you would say like the past, what would you say, 20 some years? What's that, 20, 30 years where the food has been really bad with a lot of the pesticides and things of that nature. And I want to toss it to this little video right quick, get y'all an idea of what I'm talking about when it comes down to the food. Stand by for that. And you know, it's funny how we can, I don't know how you want to say it, we can see different things and
Plan the
say,
plan.
what's that?
Plan the plan, but you
Yeah,
can't plan the
you
results.
can't. And you know, maybe some of these things will help us and we can get better at it. And not only that, make it better for our kids, better for our, you know, just everybody in our family to where we can do better. But also, what me and Greg were talking about, you know, in the green room was that, you know, he was giving us very good reasons why we're in the position we're in. My argument is why not put pressure on these stores that can put stores right in our neighborhoods? And it's all these myths and narratives of why they don't. Crime, they say people aren't going to buy it, all these things, but everyone buys groceries. Why not give them the fresh vegetables, the fresh fruits? Change their mindset. If people are used to doing these things, change their mindset. I want to toss this video to you right quick and let me know what y'all think. Of course, there's no sound.
So what we are listening to is Dead Air,
Yeah.
is a killer on a broadcast that's live, but it happens. And like we said, we're
Still
not
don't hear it?
professionals here. Still don't hear it.
You still don't hear it?
Don't hear a thing. You can plan the plan, but you can't plan the result. And where we went with that was the businesses are that may want to put their stores into Black neighborhoods are scared by the insurance companies, by law enforcement. You know, you don't want to put it in there, or we're going to have to charge you a higher premium if you put it in this neighborhood over here, or we can give you a break if you put it over this way. Um, there's a way that society has fell into this trap of capitalism that says I have to be able to make money. It does not do me any good to create a relationship with the community. But when you bring peace to the community, it helps the relationship with your business. So what do you want to do? EB, how do you handle that?
This is the something that's been doing my heart. I've been fighting on this since college, right? The the supermarket, you know, my father family spent 40 years in the business of selling food and hot food in grocery stores. So I've always wondered why those things and so many disparities in the Black neighborhoods when it comes to grocery stores. When I was growing up, there wasn't a lot of dollar stores and things like that. I guess in the last 20 years, we saw a lot of that. Um, it's amazing to me, and it's still just amazing. I remember it was a store up the street, and people would bypass our store to go up there because in their mind they got better deals. What they didn't understand is we actually had to pay higher prices for the products we were getting. So we had to pay, we're only making 40 cents at the most on products, right? So that covers all of the costs and everything. So I started to say there's a lot of things that involves all of that, right? There's a store here recently, I won't say the name, that moved out of the neighborhood. Council people were fighting for it for a long, long time to stay, even though they had announced them leaving. But they finally had to come out and say we have some $1 billion a year just in internal theft. So there's a lot of stuff baked into why they don't have stores here. Some of them are legitimate, some of them are not. I with a demographic that spends $1.6 trillion annually a year, which is 9% of what the economy takes in, to me, should have some say so in what they have to offer the communities. Like I said, there's a lot baked in here. There's some things that we should do as people, as a group of people, to help them make it easier for us. And you talked about incentivizing stores to come here. Well, where are they gonna put them at? You got a dollar store on one side, a convenience store on the other side, and there's no land for you to build a grocery store. So
Yeah,
I
you're
think
right.
some of the things that, yeah. Hello?
No, I said, yeah, you're right.
So some of the things that we should be doing is advocating for our councilmen to redo urban areas and redevelopment. So we're at a stage, to me, that is not just a Black problem. 1 in 5 Black people are struggling with hunger. 1 in 10 white people are struggling with hunger. So we all have the same problem. And I believe that this is no longer a minority problem, but all of the things that affect having grocery stores in every neighborhood, we should be trying to figure out what method works for everybody, not just one particular demographic.
Well, I don't like targeting demographics. I like targeting specific neighborhoods. I like creating the relationships and conversations in different areas to solve that problem, because every place in the United States isn't the same. And when you start trying to make things a cookie cutter, the blueprint should be more than just drawings on a paper that we're going to put here and here and here. It should be the effort to engage on a spiritual level, communication. What are the needs of the community? Identifying that need, and then addressing, starting with health. And when you get to dealing with that health, that's where that food comes in, where you talk about what's available to eat. We come up with fresh vegetables. There were some grocery stores that I would get vegetables that wouldn't last a week. And then there's some that I would get, but what we were never realized in our American psyche was the worldwide interaction for farming, because it's wintertime here, it's summertime and harvest down there. And our fruits, because of the shipping costs and stuff, if you mess with the shipping costs, you mess with the price of vegetables and fruits that you get out of season. It used to be a run on Bing cherries and the white cherries that we got from the West Coast up in Washington and Oregon, and they were really good. But then we could get them also at a different time of year at pretty much the same price, but they were coming from another country.
Yeah.
And so now we have this situation where we're messing with every supply chain in this country. And it's still, the healing is only going to start with relationships. It starts with identifying the people and having a conversation with them. And people I don't like to treat people stupid.
Yeah.
You know what you know. Sometimes you go over things with a minimum of concern. You might skip some words or put in something that you think is hard, but we have to learn how to lament with each other and quit pointing fingers and placing blame. But I digress. I'm step off my
No,
soapbox. Y'all
that
know
was
who
good.
I am.
That was good. Both of y'all had good commentary on that, and I appreciate it. I want to see this. I want to see this video play because I hear it in my ears. I want to see if I can get it to you guys again. See if you can hear it.
Talking about systems that have been in place to keep people poor and sick, and we don't have those conversations.
Meet Karen Washington, a pioneer in the urban farm movement, who also coined the term food apartheid.
Yes, I coined that term. I don't care. People like it, they don't like it, I don't care. but it gives people the opportunity to start having those conversations.
Can you talk a little bit about why it was so important for you to kind of come up with a new terminology to frame this conversation?
So when I heard the term food desert, I just couldn't understand why they were talking about a location where there's limited access to food. We got food. No one is talking about the junk food we have, the processed food, the fast food. They're not talking about the unhealthy food that we have, but yet they're classifying that we live in a food desert. I wanted people to peel away the food system and looking at through the lens of race, through the lens of land, to the lens of wealth. We are in the 21st century, and people know the haves and have-nots. We know we have high incidence of diabetes, heart disease, obesity, but yet you victimize the poorest people, saying that they can control and change if they give up soda and drink water, instead of saying, well, wait a second. No. Hunger and poverty is man-made. Food desert does not allow you to have that conversation.
Right.
But food apartheid does.
I can only imagine the first time you used that term in a public space, like what the reaction must have been.
Yes, eyes popped open. Yeah. Black folks were saying, yeah. Everybody else was saying, ooh. We need to start talking about systems.
Amen.
Yeah, that caught my attention. Food apartheid brings in a conversation. What's your thoughts after seeing this video? Either
I
one.
stand corrected.
Like expand on that.
Don't use a common term. Use a term for what it really is, apartheid. That we're being kept from something. And they make it buffers and layers of things that block us from getting to the source, including knowledge.
I agree. I learned more about food. I learned more about, I would say it's been about 10 years, but it really came to me during 2020 when we were we were doing all these vitamins, to build up your immune system. And so, I went to to CVS and was it, whatever the main brands are at CVS. And then I came home and we started researching what we bought. They're all filled with fillers, plastics and fillers. So then I learned the word whole foods. Whole food as in not just the grocery store, but whole vitamins. The whole vitamin there with no fillers in it. I said, wow. So then I had to start looking at foods. So I go to the grocery store, it says organic on it. But in that same ingredient list, it says natural flavors. Like, what is that? So then you gotta look at all these things. And this is not just in poor neighborhoods. This is everywhere. So imagine if they're doing it in people that can't afford the food. Imagine what they're doing to communities who can't afford that kind of food. What's in it? And so my wife and I, we were, like I was telling Greg earlier, going to in my neighborhood, there's 2 grocery stores where I can get fresh fruits and vegetables within a 3 mile from my house. And then we'll leave there and we'll go to Costco's. We get bulk items. On the way back, there's 4 more grocery stores we can stop at on the way back home. And it's no more than 20 minutes. And I feel for communities who don't have that privilege. I felt like, wow, we are really fortunate. We are really fortunate. Because I go to my mom back to her house in Cleveland. She lives in Bedford Heights. She has to drive to Mayfield Heights to get to a Costco.
Mm-hmm.
I have 6 Costco's within a 40-minute drive of my house. 6 Costco's. And so you're thinking like, wow, what is going on? Is it just for people who can afford it? No, it's not. Everybody can afford it. You get what you want to get, right? If people want to eat healthy, they'll get it. But at least give them the opportunity to get it is what I'm saying. So anyway, I get going on it because it gets me angry. And I'll pat it to BB because I know you got something for me, but I hate to see where I can do something And that same privilege I have can be held somewhere else. And it's almost like there's
Yeah.
a block purposely, intentionally. It is intentionally keeping people from doing it. What you got, man?
I gotta, this is gonna be a little controversial. There's another term um, called supermarket redlining. And with grocery store chains, again, I mean, this is really passionate to me. My wife would be laughing if she's heard this conversation because got into an argument with a professor about this whole topic, right? It's got supermarket redlining is where chain grocery stores avoid um, minority neighborhoods. We think it's because of stealing, but it really isn't. I want to give you an example. A young man, I was an assistant manager of a restaurant in a suburban neighborhood. When I when they moved to the east side neighborhood, which is on 83rd in Euclid, from Mayfield Heights, the fast food chain that I was at made 3 times as much. I want you to think about that. The one in Mayfield Heights was 3 times less uh, revenue than the one on 84th Euclid.
Yeah.
Some it so much I thought I had counted wrong at the end of the night. I asked the manager, he told me, well, these people packed this place, and I saw that Sunday you could not leave the building. And so I said to say this. Right now, the habits that we have and the way we eat in a minority neighborhoods is already baked in. There's a lot of reasons why it's baked in, and some would say that it's baked in because of that's the way they designed it. No, a lot of it has to do with capitalism.
Yeah.
Yeah. Make the money. Just go
Going in and out.
I'm sorry. How about now?
Yeah.
Yeah. If you go into any city neighborhood right now and see how many fresh vegetables are on the shelves in any grocery store.
Yeah.
Go into maybe where Marcus is living at. The grocery store has a whole area full of fruits and vegetables because guess what? The people in the suburbs, I'm sorry to say this, they're going to buy them. Unfortunately, we have been taught not to buy those. So what does that do to a grocery store? They don't sell them in the inner city. I did it today. I went today and I saw meat that was almost light brown in a certain neighborhood, and I'm going, they should be out of business. But you know why they have it there? Because they're going to sell it to somebody who's going to buy that meat because it was also marked down with a different date. And so I think there's a whole bunch of issues here that we need to deal with. Part of it is economics. If we do anything, like I told Greg earlier, to incentivize grocery stores to build, let's redo the neighborhoods so that they can make money there.
We lost him.
A healthy grocery store in the neighborhood. It'll never happen.
He's gone too.
Hold on.
Or is it just me? Wow. Boy, the devil don't want us to talk about this stuff here. Because everybody has the right to eat. And everybody has the right to eat healthy. And people make their inference, EB, from what they see. They they don't need no vegetables there anyway. They don't buy them and this, that, and the other. Yep, you check.
No, that was good what you said, EB. That was good. Yeah, man, it's like my earphones just like I just gotta put them in the case, take them back out. They like bloop, came right back on. But good point, man. It is that some of the stuff was baked in already. But I remember like in every neighborhood we grew up, we was able to go to a grocery store wasn't too far from our house, as you were growing up. So, but yeah, I mean, that's just something to think about, something to take away, and something to Also, in my opinion, you take to the ballot box. That's something that you would demand from your politicians, demand from your the ones that are running. Be like, yo, you have the voice that can influence this to bring it into our communities. You can do this. And so think about it. When Walmart was just doing regular clothes and everything, at some point the mindset came in, you're making all this money, you're in every neighborhood, start putting food in your stores. And what did they do? They made it work. They made it work. The Target followed behind them and they did the same thing. You know what I'm saying? So you see your department stores holding groceries. They are a monopoly, I would say, because they're so big and got the money. But um, it just got to my heart, man. Just thinking about the stores I was going to, and they weren't that far from me. And I look at my mom and dad where they live at, and they're going to two completely different cities to get their groceries. There is a Giant Eagle not too far from them. Um, so I'm like, am I? And I've always thought this way, even when I was living there, I thought this way. That why do we have to go so far to get the things that we need? And is it that the population in general in Cleveland and its suburbs won't patronize all these businesses? I'm not sure. But
Let me add something to it. Can
go
you
ahead.
hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Let me add something to it too that also I discovered when I was doing that thesis paper. The stores that take SNAP benefits intentionally raise their prices.
yeah,
Let me
I
say that
believe that.
again.
I believe that.
The stores that take SNAP benefits intentionally raise their prices because they are guaranteed to get what they charge for it.
Right.
So if we don't deal with the economics for grocery stores, we're going to have to deal with it. I think about A&P and I think about Giant Tigers and all those stores back in the day. And there's one thing that we haven't talked about. In every store when I was growing, every area I grew up in, there was a market. And you would
Yeah,
go there once a week
yeah,
to get eggs and fruits and vegetables. But then they made it hard for those markets to perform in those certain neighborhoods. It wasn't because people was robbing them, and
yeah,
because they made the economics too hard for people to do that. That will support local farmers,
yeah,
whether in the city or in the country.
yeah,
It's not happening. It's going wrong because we're saying that they're making too much money. I just think we got, like Greg said earlier, we need to bring everybody together so we can start talking about this thing and make this thing work because it has to work, not because they making too much money and not making enough money. The only way this is going to work is we got to bring people together.
yeah.
So
I agree.
here's a memory that I had. My dad's from Twinsburg, Ohio. His parents, my grandfather worked at the May Company, and he would come in on the weekend, and we'd go to the East Side Market,
Hmm.
right? The East Side Market was 4 times the size of our West Side Market is now,
Hmm.
right? What happened to the East Side Market?
They closed up.
They let the area around them go down, right? Property values went down in downtown Cleveland.
Hmm.
I'm talking about right on Ontario,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah,
Bought all of that land, tore it down, and put up an arena and a baseball park.
hmm,
And there was already a municipal stadium down on the lake. But you took away a piece of history because right up the street from the East Side Market, if you think about it, between 30th and 55th
Talking about
on
West Side
Woodland.
Market, right?
No, I'm talking about
East
the
Side
East
Market.
Side
It was the East
Market.
Side
The East Side Market's on St. Clair.
over there in
The
Glenville
East Side Market on St. Clair was the substitute
after they tore it down.
pacification after they tore down the real East Side
Okay.
Market, which was down there where the Gateway Complex is.
Okay, I got you. Understood.
And they just
Okay.
Right?
That shows how young I am.
they just
Man,
renovated. They just renovated the West Side Market, didn't they? Didn't they do a
but they
renovation or
still
something?
but what made the East Side Market grow so much was there was a truck terminal right there between 30th
Is that
and
Carnegie?
9th Street
Oh, ninth.
on Orange.
Oh, yeah, yeah, you're
Orange and
right.
Broadway.
Right.
That whole they in 1985, they put up a post office in that area. They let our property values go down when we made an economy that was taking care of the city. Everybody from 10, 20 miles away would come downtown to the East Side Market. You can get your fresh beef, you can get you a whole side of beef, you could get anything that you want, and say, no, we don't need this. We want our entertainment, and we want a West Side Market. We'll have that over there across the bridge on Carnegie, away from the brothers. You know, we gonna draw the line. Nobody gonna cross Cuyahoga
Yeah.
County. You know how the politics are here.
It's about economics.
Got
It's
a
still, I
question.
go back to it.
Do they still have fish markets around there in Cleveland?
Yeah, I got one near me.
A fish market?
A fish market, like remember like
The fish
Farmhouse or
market.
Euclid Fish or
There's your buzz. Your buzz has come back.
Welcome back to the Grits in Progress show.
The fish.
We welcome to have you
In
back.
the West Side Market, there's a corner that's a fish market, but there's no place other than maybe on Lake Erie over by what is it, Whiskey Island over there.
Right.
They might have something in there.
There's one mile Mars between Bedford and Maple, and there's another one down the corridor on Woodland.
Oh yeah, down
What's
there on 89th.
the one
That's
on Woodland? That was Farmhouse, right? The one on
yeah,
Woodland.
that's Farmhouse.
It's
And
another
they
one
got
out in Maple Heights.
they got
Okay.
one at Southgate.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
got an
Okay.
outlet there
Okay.
on
Fresh
Southgate
fish,
Park
yeah. I
Boulevard.
go there quite often. Yeah.
I've been looking for a fish market since I've been in Dallas 8 years.
And listen, now think about what he's saying, right? He in Texas and can't find a fish market.
I
Come
can't
on,
find a
man.
fish market. Now you got some Asian fish markets, some Asian markets that sell fish, but I can't go to a fish market that just got just fish. I've been looking for one. Now I just ain't found one yet. I guess I don't know. Or maybe if I go down to Houston where the water at, maybe I can
I
find
was just
one.
gonna say,
You know, we got Lake Erie, right? We
That fish
they
ain't
call
coming
us the
from
mistake on the lake, but you know,
that fish
the
not coming out of
walleye
Lake.
is good.
Yeah, that fish they getting that farmhouse ain't coming from out that lake. They shipping it in from somewhere. So we're gonna keep it moving, y'all. So this is 250 years, right? United States birthday is what they're calling it. And you know, me personally, here you go. This is gonna set the table right here for us. Okay, how do your family EV celebrate, or not? I ain't gonna use the word celebrate. What do your family do on the 4th of July?
cook, cook, but I have conversations. We cook and
Yeah,
we just celebrate just the time together. Because I'm aware of so much, you know, I have to say some things to my kids to kind of educate them. I don't want to teach them to hate America, but I want to teach them to remember some things. And so we don't talk a lot about the day, what the day means,
yeah,
because it's so much contradictions on it. But
yeah.
they understand it, but I don't really go into it
I got a
on that
question.
day.
When you were little, how did you all celebrate the 4th of July?
Same way, barbecue, fireworks, just like everybody else celebrated that you know, claimed a superiority issue. And then when I got older, I knew more. Certain things I don't do anymore. So yeah.
What about you, Greg? How do you all celebrate? I mean, I ain't gonna say celebrate. What do you guys do on the 4th of July?
What we did was, I believe,
Now, what do
was
you
the
do now?
UAW.
Like, what do you do now? Like, what do you do as?
I don't do anything. I don't do anything now. Not for the
Okay,
4th of July.
okay. Now
But
going back to kids.
when I was growing up, my dad was an auto worker, and they had the UAW picnic out at Geauga Lake
Yeah.
on that weekend. So the families all got together and went there. You know, my parents had friends. They had their own card parties. They went bowling. They had bowling leagues and things that
Right,
we did, right?
right,
But
yeah.
it wasn't specifically, we didn't
Mhm.
honor the 4th of July. It was
Right.
just a day that they got paid to be off, so let's
That's
do
right.
some family reunion stuff. We all can get
Right.
together, and that's all it was about. So
Right,
that's
right.
all it ever been for me.
Now
You know, I
I
don't
agree.
celebrate this country.
The thing about it is that that story, I mean, what you just said at the end was I don't celebrate this country. It wasn't even what I heard was the same thing that I did. It was a day off. We kicked it with family. We barbecued. We
That's
cooked
right.
out. I did not remember not one day growing up where we talked about the independence of the United States from England.
That's right.
I do not
That's
remember
true.
that conference. I didn't know the 4th of July meant that until I get into school. You know what I'm saying? But you know what? And it's so
4th of July, I could go look at the fireworks down on the lake. And
that
That's
then
was
in the
it.
right.
evening, everybody, right?
But we didn't relate
That's right.
that. But when I saw the fireworks, I didn't relate that to
Nope.
the war,
I get
the
me either.
Revolutionary War. I didn't even relate that to that. It was like
Me either.
fireworks. That's what we do on the 4th. And as I've gotten older, and the more you want to push back on the 4th of July, makes it even more and more why I want to continue to push out true history. The more I hear people talk about Independence Day and more talk about freedom, the more and more I want to. I was talking to my wife. I bought these shorts, these swimming trunks. We were going to Mexico, and I bought these red, white, and blue swimming trunks. And this was 2 years
Great
ago.
idea, Miles. Great
Oh
idea,
no,
Mars.
right. I wasn't thinking. So what I was thinking when I bought it was I'm claiming that I'm an American because this is where I was born at, and claiming that part of it. And she said, "You don't want to go down there with them shorts on." She said, "They can't stand us down there. We shipping people back and forth down to the South America area." I'm like, "You got a point." So it brought awareness, but that fired my fuel more for saying, "Why am I letting people hijack what their interpretation of what an American is? Why can't I claim what I feel an American is, being an American that was born here? Why it have to be somebody else's definition?" So that's where I was at with it. And
So
so go ahead,
so
Greg.
here's another piece of history that you never ever hear them talk about. Memorial Day
Oh yeah, I
was
know
the
about that.
day that the brothers got together to honor the fallen who had fought during the Civil War
Mhm.
and put a marker on their graves just
Yeah,
as a remembrance,
yeah,
right? That was the beginning of what got usurped and turned into the Memorial Day weekend
mhm,
that we got to have these wreaths and honor the
yeah,
unknown soldier and all. No, we were just remembering those of our ancestors and
Was
that veneration that we give to our people,
I want to
it
piggyback
scares
on
them.
that. I want to piggyback on that. That's in Charleston, South Carolina, where it started. It was actually a racetrack that they did this on. And the original day wasn't Memorial Day. It was actually called Declaration Day or Decoration Day because they decorated the graves with the flowers and ribbons and things. And there's a lot of holidays that are celebrated, and this country in themselves don't even know how the holiday even started. They just do it. Were you gonna say something, EB?
I was going to say that the one thing that it means to people that know better is it's a remembering that there's a lot of unfinished promises, right? There's a
Yeah.
lot of unfinished promises, and there's some people that don't understand why we're still frustrated with America.
Mhm.
Those of us who can make these strides, like me and Mars, if you tell us no, we can't have a job, we're gonna find a way to get the job anyway. But why should you have to fight to get the job that the next person who has less education and less experience get? Until America solves that problem of those unfinished promises, whether to the Asians or whether to the Blacks, we will never look at those holidays like they do.
Yeah,
They could let their kids roam free in an all Black neighborhood, and I promise you, we won't touch them.
yeah,
The Black people will probably get them out of the street. But if it's the opposite, we'll be nervous about our kids. Why should we live
yeah,
in a country like that? And you want us to celebrate that day? That's why many of us, even if those of us who love this country,
yeah.
won't look at things the exact same way.
Right. Hmm. Totally agree. This leads me to why I brought this up. Being the, this is the, what they call it, the semi-sequential centennial. Wait, is that how you say it?
Semi-sequential.
Semi-quincentennial. Why can't you just say something different? Why I gotta be that long word?
Semi-sesquicentennial.
See, it means
Semi-sesquicentennial.
250th year anniversary. So I'm bringing this with the defense mindset. So the key insight is moving from a symbolic celebration to a transactional democracy through accountability audit. Accountability audit. You go through these things of saying, making those demands from a ballot box perspective. And a lot of us still push off the ballot box saying, my vote don't matter, my vote don't matter, my vote don't matter. Well, what are you going to do to make it matter? That's an individual thing. That's not a group thing. That's an individual mindset. So the black unemployment rate, check out, is 7.5% for what I see here, and Medicaid under threat. So our vote must be a business transaction and not a favor to these politicians. Um, when you look at it from that perspective. I want to show this. I want to show this other video. Hopefully, it plays for you. If it don't play for you, we'll talk about it on the other side. But the last one played, so this one better play, or I won't. We're gonna go through the same way here. Greg talk about me in the background. But
No, Greg's gonna have to go because I got family matters.
okay, you about to leave now?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you were leaving around 8. My bad.
Um it is almost 9 o'clock here.
Okay, no, take care of the business, man. I appreciate it.
Yep, I gotta do this.
Okay, no, take care of it.
Love to you all of y'all. Keep
Huh?
talking, have the conversation.
Oh yeah, we
I
will.
don't have to be here. Have the conversation.
Right.
Peace and love. Out.
Peace and love, man. Take care now. Appreciate that. Yeah, we ain't gonna be too much longer, EB, but I want to go get this other video out. This is gonna talk more so. This is a video from an event where they were opening up, they were doing a launch for this America 250, which is the defend your democracy. And it was put on by the Urban League. And it just caught my attention because I was like, wow, this is something different that I had not heard about. So I'm gonna get your take on it. So it didn't play. So let's get this thing to play. I don't know why this thing won't play, man. What does one believe is your responsibility to uphold the Constitution and its guarantees of equal protection? Number two, how do you view your role in enforcing the Civil Rights Act? I'm gonna bring it back very quickly. These 7 questions are as follows. What does one believe is your responsibility to uphold the Constitution and its guarantees of equal protection? Number 2, how do you view your role in enforcing the Civil Rights Act, the Voting Rights Act, and other civil and human rights protections? Number 3, what is your responsibility to confront anti-blackness, anti-Semitism, Islamophobia, anti-Arab racism, misogyny, anti-LGBTQ bias, anti-immigrant bias, and other forms of racism, xenophobia, and discrimination? What is your view of efforts to limit the teaching of truthful, fact-based history in schools, museums, and public institutions? Number 5, what role should equal opportunity principles, such as diversity, equity,
inclusion and accessibility play in education, in employment, in housing, and in healthcare? And if, in your view, are we falling short? Number 6, how do you view issues around the independence of the courts, the rule of law, the peaceful transfer of power, the integrity of our elections as influencing your work on a day-to-day basis? And number 7, what does it mean for you to serve the needs and interests of not just some, but all of your constituents, rather than the interests of a particular base or donor group? These questions form the basis of this guide. And we advance these questions to the American people as a tool. It is one thing for us to say, be involved civically. It is one thing for us to say, please vote. But we want to add to that a tool that helps people have a conversation. Now where? In town halls, in community meetings, in one-on-ones, online, or any combination, in barbershops and beauty salons, at card games, at video games, in any setting where discussions about the survival of community and our nation is a part. This guide, this America 250 guide for defending democracy, is a tool for you to use. Before we hear from speakers, I want to say that we are at a pivotal moment in our lives as this generation of American leaders, because we are at the 250th anniversary of this country. Democracy has survived, even if it was imbued at its beginning with an original sin. Throughout that long history, generations have come forward to serve in what I believe have been constitutional perfectors. Whether it was Lincoln and Douglas, whether it was suffragists or abolitionists or civil rights activists, every generation has had a responsibility to perfect American democracy and the American Constitution.
I'll put it right there. That's the first time I heard of that was yesterday.
I got a problem.
What's that?
Every time, and it was great, right? It was great. You and I understand a lot of it. We understand it. We know what the preference is, and it seems like every time a individual talks about those type of things, it's always these high level conversations. There's a lot of people that don't know what suffrage movement is. A lot of people don't know what democracy is supposed to mean. I guess what I'm trying to say in so many words is we need more people that's more relatable. I do believe that everything he was saying was legitimate. I think it was necessary, and I think it's a good plan. But I don't think the people that need to hear it is connecting with it. And I can prove that by the amount of people who still go out for federal elections and still don't vote in city elections. A lot of the Urban League and people like that, they seem to talk in these colloquial terms that you only understand if you enter and follow politics, moving forward and where we come from, those type of things. They don't mean anything to the 19 or 20-year-old who's having a hard time finding a job in the inner city neighborhood. Mm-hmm. How are you going to draw them in to have this conversation? Because that really is where the answer is. And I'm not saying that he's not going to get any movement from what he's saying, but collectively, we need people engaged that don't understand that kind of language. And so every time I watch one of these programs, I'm always frustrated because the people are in the room waiting, and then the people get up and do 7 or 8 speeches, and then after a while it becomes redundant. So I guess for me overall, I think it's oversaturated with a lot of high level information People don't understand all those dynamics. They just want to know, can I get a job? Can I get something to eat? Who should I vote for based on what my needs are? That's all they need.
I wanted to hear what the changes that they want to make. I didn't hear that part. The changes, like when I read Project 2025, it specifically said what they wanted to do.
That's right.
I didn't hear that here.
Lack
And
clarity.
right,
Yeah.
and think about it though, this should have been out in 2020, 2024,
Yeah.
2023, whatever. It shouldn't come
Yeah.
out in 2026. The
Yeah.
year that
Yeah.
we're having the anniversary, you bringing up this document. I'm not going to criticize it for bringing it out. My only thing is, why not have done it earlier? It sounded like it was a reactionary move that was done
That's
too
it.
late. And
And that's
I
it. Mars, it seems like to me it is always that way, right? You and I, we're just practical people, and again, in our own lives, we've had to move and shake things up. You know, you and I have been around politicians and movements and being
yeah,
able to fight to get on stage, those kind of things. So you know that the movement, right? Being able to tap people on the shoulder and say, "Hey, I want this." We need to hear something that's going to make us want to tap people on the shoulder, right? We
yeah,
need to hear something that's going to tell us what to do. If you round up 100 people right now that was in that room and they say, we ready to do something, we got food, we got cars, what do you want us to do? They leave that meeting going, what do we got to do? That's crazy.
yeah.
You got their attention. Why don't you speak to them? And I don't hear that happening.
Well, I didn't hear the whole speech just now. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't listen to the whole thing. I am going to listen to the whole thing because those answers that the questions that we're talking about right now might be answered in this video. It's a
Yeah, but
42-minute video.
I see that all the time. It's like it's constant, and that's what's frustrating to watch. And one thing, Trump, even though he might lack the details we should give that we think he should give, he gives enough details, which makes people come to a stadium and say things that makes no sense, but they're there and they're ready to do anything he tells them to, such as January 6th, right?
Hmm.
He doesn't lack clarity on what he wants, even in that 5 minutes. And he says, do this. And
Hmm.
those people do it.
Yeah.
How's he able to get that off? He's not the brightest guy in the world. He's able to get that off because he speaks to them in the language they understand. He doesn't talk on a high level. That's why some people get so frustrated with him, because he speaks directly to those people, whether they're in the projects, the trailer park, or the mad person in the suburbs. He speaks to those
Well,
people. So they,
I'll take it even another step further. It's not even him. I would say it's the think tanks that are behind him, like the Heritage Foundation. They're in your neighborhood, they're at your town hall, they're at your PTA meetings, they're at all your functions within the community. So these agendas are pushed out before it even goes to Congress.
yeah,
Before Congress
yeah,
even vote on it, it's already a hot topic at your community town hall, at your community PTA, at your women's meetings, your men's meetings, your churches. It's already a topic before it even hits mainstream news. So when I
yeah.
saw this, that's why I said I want to look at it before I truly criticize it. My only criticism was that this should have been something that was talked about 2 years ago because we knew what we were going to see that's happening now. We knew that was going to happen. We knew it was going
They
to happen.
always late to the game. It's
Yeah,
always this late thing, and I've been watching that so long, and we label it right. What he's saying is not a Democrats only agenda.
it's
It
not.
should be America's agenda,
It
right? But
is.
they'll start framing it because it's political season.
Yeah,
They'll start framing it as a Democrat thing. So guess what? The people that lean toward the right will never hear it,
yeah,
and they don't care. But it might be some stuff in there they kind of agree with.
yeah. So I would love to have push this, make the algorithm push this thing because, like I said, I want to listen to the whole thing first before I make another decision. I'll bring it back up on another show. But I wanted to just throw that out there. It was something I think the talking points were great. I just want to see what are the action items within the talking points. Because you
Yeah.
said talk
Yeah.
to your, he told you all the events you could talk about it at, but he didn't tell you what to talk about. You know,
That's
so
right.
so hopefully that's going to be discussed by some of these other speakers. And lastly, man, when the last time you went to a black-owned bookstore?
Oh man. Black owned book only store. I went to a store
Yeah.
that sold sold books, but I ain't never went
Okay.
to a black only bookstore.
No,
Yeah.
that's good too. That's good too. Um, So where was that at? And like, what was that
The one
experience
on
like?
Larchmere, I can't remember the name of it. The
Oh
one on
yeah,
Larchmere.
yeah. It's been there for a minute.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I go there all the time.
I used to go
Yeah.
to the one on Euclid that had the Black Christian books. Uh,
Oh yeah,
had the pesticides in the that was Jody used to work at Rainbow. I think that was his family that
yeah,
that ran
yeah,
that over there. That was black owned. But um
yeah.
want to try this again with these videos, man. I got my last one. Let's make it roll. Let's make it roll. I gotta do some editing after this one, man. But I am determined to make this show work right, man, because this is we can do
It's
better than
live,
this.
man.
I
They're
know.
hard.
So
They're
we can
hard.
do this. We can do this.
In cities across America, Black-owned bookstores have long been more than places to buy books. They've been community hubs, safe spaces, and cultural archives. Now, they're coming together like never before. The National Association of Black Bookstores has officially launched, connecting shops nationwide to amplify voices, share resources, and strengthen the pipeline of Black literature. This network means when you walk into a Black-owned bookstore in Atlanta, you might discover an author from Oakland. A poetry collection from Chicago could end up in the hands of a reader in New Orleans. And children's books centering Black joy and heritage will reach classrooms in every corner of the country. It's also about protecting spaces that have weathered decades of change, from the civil rights movements to the digital age. These stories have stood their ground, championing the words of Toni Morrison, James Baldwin, Maya Angelou, and today's rising voices. From classics to contemporary authors, these bookstores hold the stories that shape us. Follow Melindy Press for more global Black stories.
Yeah. The reason why I brought that up because there's 306 Black bookstores buildings in the United States, which I didn't know. I knew they were out there. 306. So there's this guy that's put together of the National Black Bookstore Directory has an access a map of all 306 locations via the website there. And I thought that was a good tool because people are looking for stores. I know we have them here in Dallas. They're more so in downtown Dallas, but I want to see, uh, you know, there's a push for it right now. Like we're in Nubia, me and Greg, which is in we follow Karen Hunter on Sirius XM, and she has Nubia. And they have a list of all the every time a new one pop up, they put it on the list there. And I didn't really push that idea on this show because a lot of people may not have a subscription to Nubia. So I didn't want to push it this way. So what I did was I have the directory here and I wanted to be able to say, okay, people, this is what it looks like. And this is something that you all can participate in. And all you do is put your city, your name in there, and boom, you have access to the bookstore. And this is what it looks like. Let me bring it up for you. This is what the website looks like. It's a directory. Our pictures are over where it says it has the state, I mean your city there. So I'm gonna bring our picture down a little bit so we can see what the whole scope of it looks like. Um, so you can put in what city you're in. You click on it, boom, and it shows your cities. Then you have it where you got your state. Then you got it where you have you got your states there. You know, the brick and mortar, mobile bus, online shelter, a pop-up bookstore. You can search by location right there, your zip code possibly, and do a search. And they also have a list of a lot of the stores here also as well
Nice.
in different cities. And it's sad that we have to go this route because of the growing number of books that are being banned that speak to our community. You know, it's something that we should be able to. This is where we take ownership of what we want to see and what we want in our communities. So I like this. We're taking ownership of that.
This is a great idea, and I think, but it also should be one of a pillar of ideas, and the other pillar should be to push reading. Right,
Yeah.
54% of adults in this country read below a 7th grade level. Think
Yes.
about that,
No,
adults.
you're right.
So, and the reading literacy of kids, and I asked my wife, as a former teacher, why don't a lot of kids in the classroom read? Because she says nobody makes them. And
Yeah.
so that's the problem, right? So this directory is a great tool. I thank God for kids that love to read. My children love to
Mm-hmm.
read. I used to have to make my daughter go to bed. She'd be reading a book late at night with a flashlight,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But how many kids don't do that? This directory is a necessary tool
Yeah.
to give the people the resources so that we can read things that are like us. But at the same time, on that, we need to pair that with a reading initiative. Hey, read this many books in this period of time, because right now we got a generation of people think that they can get information off of AI, right?
Yeah.
Instead of reading an
Yeah.
article that AI got the information from.
Yeah.
How many of them read a newspaper? How many of them read a newspaper article? We need to get them back to reading. Otherwise, these directories are only going to be for people that like me and you, and that, they can't keep them in business that way. They're going to need to bring in a lot more younger people and show them how to read.
Well, they got to start somewhere, and people
Sure.
like me and you who are interested in this, there's thousands, and I'm gonna say there's over tons of, quite a few million of Black Americans here that will engage in
Good.
this. And
Yep.
then, and the only reason I say that because I know what's going on in Nubia, and this is our conversation. And
Yep.
so then that's where you take your kids to find a book. So your kids are, no, really, let's
Yeah.
go to the library. Kids like the library. Take them to this
Yep.
library, you know,
Yep.
and
Yep.
allow them to learn these books. And what's fascinating, excuse me, sorry about that. What's fascinating is when you go to a book reading, like where they're, or some type of history class where they're like actually reading a historical book to an audience, and your kids get to hear the story. And it's almost like you can see this movie playing off in your head.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, the
Yeah.
same way we did when we were younger, when you was in class and they read a book. It could be
Yeah.
Goldilocks and the Three Bears. The story played in your mind. So if you get
Yeah.
this, and all these stories don't have to be historical stories. It could just
Yeah.
be a
Right.
fictional story, but it gives a vision, a look, a feel, a vibe of what it was like for
Yeah.
us in that situation. And it could be a
Yeah.
successful story, whatever. But anyway, I thought that was very good to share with our audience, and
Sure.
something that we
We
could
should always
definitely,
we should always push. We should always have that available.
yeah,
Any
definitely.
tool that's going to give us information, any tool where we can get people to get information, even if we have one person a day check out something in those bookstores,
Yeah.
it's still a person that's more educated today than they were yesterday.
That's why I was so excited about the show today. We talked about three different discussions, had three different discussions, and each one was something to educate someone else about. And think about it, you didn't have to put politics in it.
Right.
And you know about it,
That's
you know
right.
what? It was all political. Everyone,
That's right.
every one of them topics was a political topic.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we didn't really, we kind of tossed politics in there, but in actuality, when it come down to food deserts, that could be any community. It could be rural white country,
That's
rural
right.
white
And it
communities.
is,
It is.
right?
Yeah, it
One in
definitely.
one in one in five, I think it is. Yeah.
It is there. So they have food deserts as well. When you talk about defending democracy, that's for all of us. All of
Yeah.
us. And then when you're talking about, bookstores, I think historical books, regardless, should be in our libraries, regardless of the ethnicity of the writer or who the
That's
story
right.
is about. It should still be in
That's
the
right.
bookstores and libraries.
It's unfortunate that we have to grab a moment for ourselves. We shouldn't even have to do that.
Mm-mm.
We should automatically assume and know and
Yeah.
feel confident that our books are in their stores too, but we
Right.
can't find it. I can go to the bookstore right now. They got a small black section, and most of those are fairy tale books,
Yeah. Yep.
right? They're not about
Right.
history. They're not about. I said, man, they got a
Mhm.
black section here, but it's all about stuff that's not even real.
Right. No, definitely. You're right. And that's something that, hopefully we continue to move forward with this, move forward with these type of agendas and these conversations, not just for us, but for society in general. And
Yep.
it makes sense to see some quality change starting to take place like we did at one time. We saw change happening, but we don't see it
Yep.
as much now. But we like to see that resurface. So before we
Yep.
go, man, give me a takeaway for today's show, and what would you like to see moving forward?
Takeaway is we have a lot of work to do. Greg talks about it a lot, and so I'll emphasize, give him credit for always reminding us about the word community. If we do not convince everyone around us that community is the answer, not rage and anger and separate and politics. Community is the answer to fixing the food desert problem, the reading problem, and the celebration of this country problem. It's all about when we feel like we're part of the community, we'll celebrate just like you guys, but we don't feel like we're part of the community, so it's hard for us to celebrate the same way.
Sounds good. I know I listened to Karen Hunter today, and she was saying, as you see these things happening, it was so funny because the issues and the protests we see out there, you don't see us out there as much. We it's on our mind, but we not really sitting back like tripping on it and arguing about it. It got to
we used to it.
Right, but you know what? That's so crazy though, because we're not out there. There's no one to target. So what do you see now? They're targeting themselves. They're fighting among themselves out there. They fighting. Yes. It's so bad that Marjorie Taylor Greene, she done broke away from the group. You know what I'm saying? That's how bad it got. So they talking about each other, and that's because we decided to mind our business. And like you said, we've been there before. We understand we're gonna survive and we're gonna rise again. So to watch these people implode, these groups of people implode from the outside, it's going to create a change where again we come to the forefront and fix it.
That's right.
On our terms. So yeah, man, I appreciate
Before change, it has to be a revolution. Before change, revolution has to happen.
Has to happen.
Whatever the revolution is.
Definitely, man. I really appreciate you, brother, man, for being on the show again today. I appreciate my man Greg. I see he's still online. Greg, be safe out there as you travel, man. And we do this all again next week. I try to have some hot for you. Great discussion. And catch y'all later, man.
Thanks for having me. Okay. See ya.
Yo. GGP, y'all ready?
Welcome to the space where the truth gets spoken. Trap snares popping, hands up, energy open. Where the chains get broken and the culture stays golden. We move with grit, say grit. We rise with grace, say grace. We push for progress. Progress. No justice, no sleep. Snare snapping, keep that bounce alive. Unapologetic, black, unfiltered, unshaken. We the future in motion, history in the making. Let's go! Every step, every voice, every beat that we speak. We the rhythm of the people rising week after week.